Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Lunch and Learn. My name, as you know, is Michelle Stewart-McKoy, and I'm just walking you through another tool which has great possibilities for use with your students. So today we'll be looking at Padlet, and I got a few tips, so I'm not sharing a screen this morning while we go through the system. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Padlet, and then we're going to jump into Padlet where you can get a feel as a student. And then after, we will go through setting up your own Padlet as a facilitator. Now, what is Padlet? Did I say welcome? Welcome, everyone. I'm happy that you're here. Padlet, what is Padlet? Padlet is, if you think about it, Padlet is just an online board. Okay, it's a post-it wall. You'll see online whiteboard, you'll see discussion board, you'll see post-it board, but it's an online board where students or you can share information. It facilitates both synchronous and asynchronous learning. You can use it for individual work or for collaborative work if you are planning to do group work with your students. It actually facilitates the whole process of formative and summative assessments. If you have to be strategic about this and work it out properly, how is it that I'm going to do that? It is highly visual, as you will see in a few minutes, and it has a number of walls. So whereas most whiteboards, as you know them, it's just one big whiteboard, the Padlet can be set up in different ways. So you can have a grid, you can have columns, you can have a basic wall, you can set up a timeline depending on the format that you choose. And the updates are done in real time. So as somebody is typing or the minute the person finishes, it shows right there on the board. And as with so many other tools, I am introducing you to something that is freemium. So there is a free component, and then of course there is the paid component. The free component is pretty decent. You get 3 boards, and the good thing about the boards is that you can, when you're finished, you can store it, you can clear it, and you can use it again. So you get 3 free boards. And then if you're interested in having unlimited boards and unlimited technical support and so forth, there is a paid component. I had done an upgrade for a project that I was doing with Padlet, and I think it was $10 per month or $8 per month, something like that, and you get unlimited Padlets. Before COVID came about, the Padlets used to be free. So you used to be able to create as many Padlets as possible, and you didn't have to worry about it. But now, with the COVID and the opportunity to showcase these tools, there is a free component and a paid component. And the steps in setting up your Padlet, pretty straightforward. All you need to do is sign up, and then you create your Padlet, and then you customize your Padlet according to what it is you want to do, and then you start posting. That's all there is. Now, before we actually go into the process of creating our Padlet, let us see what Padlet looks like, what it feels like, and what possibilities that can come. So I'm going to paste in the chat a link that will take you to the Padlet that I had created. Okay, so just head on over there and I'll walk you through. If you reach before the others, you can start exploring. It is set up for exploratory purposes, and you have you have the ability to write. So if you want to write something, just fool around with it, you can. So head on over to the Padlet. Just let me know if you're there so I can move from here.
Yes, Miss, I'm there.
All right, so I'm going to share just for video capture purposes. So I'm just going to share it, but I don't want you to look on the screen at all at this point. I want you to just look at what you went to and pay attention to that. I'm simply going to share for video capture purposes. All right, so you should be on the Padlet. And is everybody there? I know that some person said that you were. Is there anybody who's not on the link I shared? Are you so engrossed into the page that you cannot hear me? Okay, so I'll
Yes,
say
I'm on the page.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so what I did was I simply put up different posts to show different ways that you could have students upload or post to the board, or you could post to the board. So the first thing that I have is a sample file, which is uploaded. So you may want your students to read and to follow up on another activity, or you probably want them to respond on the article. So if you look at the first one, which says sample post file, you'll realize that you can see the name. If you click on it, it opens it, and you can do your zoom in or out, and you have full access to the document, okay? You can click the back button to go back to the board, all right? You have an example of an audio. Now, if I were, you know, depending on what it is you want to do with your students, you may want to say to them that here is an audio file, listen and respond accordingly. Or you may want to say to them, for this particular exercise, I want you to upload an audio file. Of course, this means that you'll have to take your students through how to add their posts. So when I take you through in a few, you will be able to inform your students of what exactly to do and how to do it. Okay, so if you click on the audio, if you click the play button, okay, now depending on the course you teach, of course, you may have one of those courses where students are expected to, and their students or you would simply click the play button to hear the audio. Okay, and then again, depending on what it is that you want to do, you can have them respond, do a follow-up activity, have a discussion right there and then. You can put up a simple capture. So if for whatever reason you are separated by distance and you want your students, hi, anonymous, and you want your students to be able to capture what is happening right there and then, they can simply do a camera capture right there and then. So I did this one earlier. If you have another Padlet or that you want to showcase work that students have already done, and I didn't ask my students permission for this one, but these are my CETL students, and we were looking at the whole matter of effective teaching. And so they posted, and here I may want to extend, I may be creating a glossary. So I would share this and invite my students to add to it if that is what it is I want to do. Again, whatever it is that you do with the Padlet is dependent on the kind of objectives that you have for the session and the activities that you have in mind. Of course, this goes back to what I tend to say. Plan out exactly what it is you want to do, and then look at the board or the Padlet to say, how can I use this? Does it make sense for me to use it in this particular activity? Will this be individual work or collaborative work? Am I going to be requiring students to simply view, or do I want them to add to whatever it is? You know, so you have to think about the basics process of the teaching and learning experience. And then, of course, I also have a sample of a YouTube video. One of the things that I love about this is that if you have them right here in the board, they can play the video.
Today we're looking at 5 tools that can help you make
so
your
they don't have to come out and go to YouTube. If they press the play button, it shows right here. So this is a YouTube video, and this is a video that I did earlier demonstrating something. So if you're there with your students and you want to have a basic show and tell, you want to put the video right up, you can simply just create it and they would press play and it plays right there. Sometimes you may want to show your students something right there and then. So in this case, you can easily set up a little video. And so I want to demonstrate the difference between opaque and transparent.
And therefore, I will just simply hold both things up, explain that in a case like this, you can't see through it. But if it is transparent, you can actually put something behind.
All right. And so you have a video recording, which is not a video of embedding, it's not a YouTube video, it's something that you created. You can put images. So you may have an image that you want to spark have a discussion on, or you want to put an image that demonstrates a particular point or recaps or introduces, so you can put an image up, whether an animated image as I have here or a still image. And then, of course, you can make a link to a website. Let us say that you have already have a series of discussions, and then you want to be able to have the students visit a particular site for reinforcement purposes or for another activity or whatever. If you click on that, it takes you to the link that you want your students to go. And here I simply made a link to our Instagram page. Okay. So these are the things that you can do. Now for each, what I have done on each is that I have a thumb up and a thumb down, because you can also use it for simple polling, for simple voting purposes. So what I'm going to invite you to do is, let me just stop sharing at this point. So what I'm going to ask you to do is simply make a vote. All you would do is click on the thumb up or thumb down, and it doesn't matter, but I'd love for each person to click on at least the first 3. So the sample post, which is the file, the sample of an audio note, and the sample of the camera capture. All right, so I can see that persons are voting, and this also is feedback to a certain extent that you can use in your class. So I see and then the other thing that I'm going to ask, just put a comment on just one. I want you to put a comment on the sample file. So just put a comment, any comment whatsoever on the sample file.
Request, can you share the link in the chat again, please? I joined after.
Oh, not a problem. Let me just.
Thank you.
There you go. So you can hop on over. All right. So I noticed that persons have been making their comments. And this is one of the things that you can do. You can have a very simple exercise, which is a very impactful, a very powerful exercise, by just having students respond. But of course, again, you'd have to gauge before they go in and respond. You'd have to give them basic guidelines on what to do and how to do, noting that they're supposed to, include a comment that praises the work, find something that is positive, not attack the person who did the post. These little things that give them the kind of guideline to ensure that the comments are fair, are appropriate, and so forth. And then one of the things that I love about the Padlet, which is very unique so far, is the fact that you can all be working on the same board, but no one can remove or adjust or delete your post but you. The teacher, the facilitator, the owner of the page can remove everything, can delete, can edit, but you can only edit and address your post. So I know that in Google Slides, for example, if you're all working on a page, some persons can remove other person's work and so forth. And the same may happen in like a mind map. So with Padlet, you work on your post. You can only edit your post. You cannot edit somebody else's post, even though you're working on the same piece here. And then if you want to say to students, okay, I want you to add something to the post. So far, you have been adding to that which has been posted. But if I want you to create something that's new, what you would say to your students, and what I'm saying to you now, is at the bottom right, you will see a plus sign. So everybody's going to work with me now. Click on the plus sign. I'm going to stop sharing so I don't confuse you. So click on the plus sign that is at the bottom right, and you will get a box that says subject and write something incredible. So for subject, I would like you to put anything that you want, really. All right. So in your class, you won't say anything. You would have clearly what the students are supposed to do. So you can have them that as the subject. And where it says write something incredible, this is where you would put the information that based on the prompt. So the prompt in my Padlet says, how can we use Padlet in the classroom? Let us count the ways. Okay, so you can simply write one way that you could possibly use Padlet in your class. That is a good example. All right, and when you're finished, you click on publish. Now at the very bottom, you will see something that says white. If you click it, it simply changes the color of the post. Remember when I started, I said that this is, some persons call it a post-it wall. And because post-its come in different colors, it means that you can also change the color of your post. So you can click the drop down and change the color and then click publish. Okay, and when you do that, you will realize that your post shows up on the screen. Any comments, any questions, any confusions, any need for clarification at this point? Are we good? Are we with me? May I hear something?
I'm good. So far, I'm good.
Okay, what wonderful. Now, as I said, I simply share every now and again for video capture purposes, but we are going to head over and we're going to create our own Padlet. Okay, so at this point, I would like us to go through those steps of signing up, making our Padlet, customizing our Padlet, and starting the posting process. Okay, are we ready for that?
Yeah, yes.
All right. So go to padlet.com. So we're going to sign up, and I'm also going to sign up. All right. So when you click on sign up, you have the option of either signing up with Google, with Microsoft, or with Apple, or signing up with an email. Okay, so I am going to sign up with an email. So I'm going to put my email address in. Hopefully I can find an email address that I don't have associated with Padlet. So, and then I'm going to continue. It will want me to put a password in. So I've put a password in and I click on create account. When I click on create account, it gives me a welcome message. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. So you get a welcome message, and the welcome message says that you have two options. One that is called neon and one that is called platinum. All right. Now, if you are going to be paying, or it's $10 a month. So if you're going to be going for the paid version, you can click continue on that one. If you are going for the free, and it's the free that we're focusing on, you simply move across to where it says neon and click on continue. And then you get another welcome message that says you're now on the neon tier and they're glad to have you. And then you simply click on let's go. Are you still with me? Have we all signed up?
I have.
Okay.
I have, but I realized that I was on Padlet for 7 years ago.
Oh, great.
Yes.
All right. Now, when you sign up, so we have done the signing up, we're going to create our own Padlet. We're going to make our first Padlet. But when you come to Padlet for the first time, you'll realize that you're under a recent, okay? And more than likely, it will say something like bookmarks. I'm not sure if everybody's say bookmark.
Okay.
Yes? So if you click on the different sections, if you click on made, it will show you the same bookmark, because this is the first one. If you click on shared, it will tell you that you haven't shared anything as yet, and so forth. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to made, and we're going to double click on bookmark, because this is the one that came up by default. So we're going to use it, we're going to customize it, we're going to put in the information. Now, you may not be loving the backdrop that you get. You can change it. All right. So let us start with a few things. One of the first things that you'll realize is that you have at the very top to the right a love icon, a remake, share, a gears icon, which is your settings icon, and 3 dots. Okay, we're going to be moving largely between the modify icon, which is your settings, and the 3 dots, which has more. All right, now let us start by looking at what is under more. Okay, why am I starting at more? Let us look at the settings, and then we'll move to more after. Now, the title is called bookmarks here. We want to change the title from bookmarks to whatever it is that you want to be doing with your students. So change the title, and as you change it, it will be reflected on your board. All right. So when you change it, as I said, you will see it come up right there and then on your board. The description, I usually change this. Now, depending on what it is you're doing it for, you can probably just put very simple instructions here, or you can put a sub-theme, a subtopic, but you can put anything here. You can leave it blank if you want. All right. And if you want to put an icon, you can decide. Icons are just representative symbols. So if you want to put an icon, you can click on the icon and scroll down until you find something that represents what you want to do. If you do not want an icon, that is fine. You do not have to insert an icon. Okay, so you can click on an icon, and then if you find one that you're satisfied with, you simply click the back button to go back so you can continue with your editing. All right. We're going to go through the steps, and then I'm going to invite you to share your screen so that we can see what you're doing. But for now, let us go through the basic steps. Now, if you have put in an icon, that is beautiful. If you haven't, that's fine. Afterwards, you'll see the address, which is what you would share with others. So you can share from here, or you can share from the very top of your page. Either works.
Michelle?
Yes.
Excuse me, sorry. What happened, you know? I had been in it before, so I found my whatever. So where are we just now? Where we started? With the wall? Oh,
where
did we start?
We were at settings, so we were modifying, so we were changing. So
yes, we're starting from settings.
Yes. This is Maggie, who was in my class some time ago, my cutter class.
Yes, that's why I have an account already. Shame.
Okay, nice, Maggie.
Yes.
Right.
Okay,
so we're on
the settings.
Yes, we're on the settings.
Okay.
All right, and we're at the wallpaper. So under appearance, you will see wallpaper. If you click on wallpaper, you get a number of options. So you can use solid colors, you can use gradients, you can use textures and patterns, you can use pictures, or you can upload your very own wallpaper. So I'm going to invite you to go through any one of them and select a wallpaper for your Padlet. All right, so you can click on the colors that are there, and when you find something that you're happy with, you can use it. No, it is a wallpaper. It does not affect the post. It simply gives a backdrop. So you don't have to worry too much that it is going to hide the text that the students post or anything like that. It won't. It is simply a backdrop. All right. So when you have found something that you're happy with, you click on it and then you click the back arrow and it will take you back to wallpaper and you click that one again. Have we found something that we're happy with?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Now, you will also see color scheme. The color scheme means that it can be bright, light. You know, you have on WhatsApp light theme and dark theme. The same thing happens here. If you select light theme, it means that the box is going to be white and the text is going to be black. And you don't really see it until posting starts. So you can decide if you want to go for a light or a dark. I usually leave mine as light. But you can test it, you know, when you have some time, you can fool around with it. And then you have different font types. If you click on the font, it actually gives you a preview of what it looks like. And then you can decide if you want to use this particular font, or if, you know, you can decide if you want to use a particular font. Now, when it comes on to posting, attribution means if you have, it means that it will display the name of each person who posts. Now, depending on what it is you're doing, you may want to think carefully about whether or not you're going to use this. If you're going to use it, it means that your students would have to sign up, because it is in signing up, their display name would be shown. Okay, so this is something that you have to think about. Do I need to see the student's name? And of course, it is dependent on the kind of activity that you're doing. But if it's a resource, you don't have to worry about that at all. But if it's an activity in which students are going to be responding to other students' work, being honest about certain things, you probably don't want to show their names. If it's something where you simply want to see who said what, because it is a general discussion and persons are giving their feedback and their comments, then you can decide to insist that they do that. Okay, so that is up to you. The new post position, where do you want the post to appear as they go? So you can decide that the new posts are going to be the first one, and then you would know that this person is the last person to post. That's a little bit confusing for me, so I usually have that the new post position is the last one. So it means that I know that the person, when I'm looking at the entire list, the person at the very bottom is the last person to post. If you want it to change it around and leave it at the default, that is fine. It really doesn't matter unless it is a case that you want to look at who posted first, okay? And then, of course, if you want students to put comments, so you may want for this particular board for students to respond in a comment. You can turn comments on, and they can then put their comments in. Reactions. The reaction button is very good because it means that you can have students do a qualitative response, reaction, where they can like something. So you have the heart, so they either click the heart or not. They can vote thumb up or thumb down, as you saw on our Padlet. They can give a star rating from 1 star to 5 star, or you can actually allow them to put a numeric value on a particular piece of work. So the reactions tend to be quite popular in Padlet. And if you want to use the reaction, you simply click so that it is highlighted, and this is what will come onto your Padlet board. Okay? And filter profanity and requiring approval. You may want to look at what is posted before it becomes public, so then you can turn that on. And filter profanity, I usually leave it alone because they're really about North American profanities and not really local Jamaican based swear words and bad words. So I usually leave it, because even if I turn it on, the only thing that it would probably replace with a nice emoji would be the common North American swear words. Okay. And when you're finished, when you're satisfied with what you have, you click on save. Okay. And then you click on close. So you should now have the name of your Padlet, a sub theme if you had any, and you may have changed your background color. I am going to stop my sharing for a little bit so that I can take a quick look at what you have done so far before we go into the more aspects. So any volunteers you want to just quickly share? I have stopped sharing and you can share. Who wants to just show us what you have done?
Could you just go back? What did we do for map a domain? What did you say about that?
We didn't touch map a domain.
Oh, we didn't. Okay, no problem. All right, thank you.
So does that mean you want to share with us what you did, Carol?
No, not yet. I'm just gonna go back and
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Deirdre, your mic is open. You want to share?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Nice. So I see you uploaded a picture.
Oh Lord, that's interesting.
Watch the video. So I suspect that you will put a video in. Talk to us, Deirdre. Deirdre? Deirdre, you're muted. I'm not sure if you.
This thing wasn't allowing me to access the mic.
Okay.
Well, the video would have been on the Moodle page.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I could link to it or what, because I think it might be too large to go in here in terms of.
Right, it may be, because in the free you can upload a video that's what 25 megs. But one of the things that you could possibly do as well is to create a post right here with the link. So your first post could say it simply says watch the video on visual arguments and post 3 things about that stood out for you. So you probably don't necessarily want to have them moving from Moodle to Padlet and back again. So you could probably find out the size of the video and embed it right here. So you could put it right here, or you could actually embed the Padlet in Moodle so that they wouldn't have to go very far. All right.
Right. So that's
go ahead.
The Padlet in Moodle would have been the option, but I wasn't sure if I could, since both of them are on the same page, if I could simply insert the link to the lecture.
Yes.
Right there, and it takes them to it.
It would.
Okay, great.
Okay. And for your instruction, you probably want to just put for those who, you have some students who are going to say, Miss, where I find that, what have you? So for your instruction, you could just put a little bit more information so that it's very clear to them where this video is.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else wants to share what you have done? No? All right. Okay, so now we have our basics. We're going to put some information in. So what you do is you click on the plus sign and you start posting. So you probably have a document that you want the students to read. You put the name of the document where it says subject, But let us start with a document. See if you have any document, even if it's a blank file, you can just save a blank document so that we go through the process of uploading, and so that you can also say to your students, this is how you would upload a file for those who are uploading a file. So where it says subject, please type the name of the file. And where it says write something incredible, this is where you're going to put the some information about the file, since we're uploading a file here. Okay, so we would put some information about the file. All right, and then in the middle where you have those icons, so you have 2 green, 2 orange, and a pink that has 3 dots. The 3 dots tells us that this is more. We're interested in uploading a file. So I would click on upload. And then of course I would go to where the file is, click on it. And then my pink, I will get a little preview. And then I click on publish. And when I click on publish, it will appear. Okay. So what I want you to do for me just now, so that we can share what we have, is I want you to do 3 things for me. I want you to upload a file. It doesn't matter if it's a file that a PDF, a Word document, a PowerPoint. I would love for you to upload a file. Okay, that's 1. And then 2, I want you to simply make a post. So you're going to put text only. So you're going to give the name, and then you're going to put some information. It can be a question, it can be a statement for discussion, it can be anything at all, but it's going to be a standalone post. And then the third thing that I want you to do for me is to create 1 more. You can decide if it will be an audio post or a video post or an image that you want to put up. Now, in order for you to do that, what you would have to do is click on the more. So when you click on the plus sign at the bottom and you put in your subject and you probably write something, you click on the 3 dots, that's more, and it will open another window that gives you more options. So you have upload, which is what we just did. We uploaded a file. Then you have audio recorder. You would click on it. It gives you some basic information before you start, and then you can do your recording. You have your camera, where you can take a quick snapshot of where you are. You have the screen recorder. Screen recorder, however, requires you to have a Chrome plugin. So if you set that up on Chrome, you can actually record your screen, and this is good for show and tell purposes, depending on whether or not you have a practical class or a medical class where you need to do this with your students. The video recorder records you. So you may have a stand set up and you're showing students what to do as they go along. So the video recorder records you or the person who is in front of the camera. The screen recorder records your computer screen, okay? You can insert another Padlet. Unless you have a Padlet account where you have other Padlets, you probably don't want to insert another Padlet at this. So right now, I want you to upload a file, upload a file, do a standalone text, and 1 other. Okay, so I am giving you about 5 minutes to do that, please. And if you need any help, just let me know.
I think I'm a little behind. I was trying to finish up mine and get a sample online of some picture. So I just completed my first part of it.
Okay. And so what we did after we did the first part, Carol, was that we simply clicked the plus sign at the bottom right, and we in the section where it says subject, we wrote the subject depending on what it is we're doing. And where it says write something beautiful, we write some information that's clear to the students what they ought to be doing.
Yes, I did that already.
Okay. And then in the middle, where you see 2 greens, 2 orange, and a pink. The first one is where
hold on. When we get to, I have my picture, whatever I did on in front of me on my screen.
You have your picture?
Yeah, no, well, I uploaded a picture.
Okay.
To go with my my stuff that I was doing.
Would you like to share your screen? Let me see what you're doing.
I can try and do that.
Okay, thanks.
All right, hold on. Let me just come back in the session.
For the rest of us, we should be uploading a file, putting a standalone post, and one other.
Are you seeing it?
Yes. So you have a post that says how to design a survey.
Yes.
All right. What else did you want to do? You wanted to do?
No, I was just making up things, by the way. I didn't have anything.
That is fine.
I was to come with creativity in my mind.
No, and I just threw you on the spot. So yes. Click on the plus sign and simply write a text. No, so you can probably put purposes of surveys. And where it says write something incredible, put no. So you're not going to click on the image here, right? You write. So you say surveys are useful for a number of things, such as 1 blah, 2 blah blah, 3 blah blah blah. I didn't necessarily want you to come with content. I just want you to be able to go through the steps.
Well, I thought I was doing it by putting it on the other. You notice I put them on the welcome to the session, get ready to be creative. You saw that?
Oh, yes.
Right,
yes,
I did that already, right? I did
that. Okay,
right,
okay.
I did that, right, okay.
All right.
But I think what I didn't do is I'm not sure if I touched the plus sign.
All right.
I didn't hear about the plus sign at the time.
That's fine, because one of the things you can also do to post is simply double click.
You mean to publish it?
To post somewhere. If you want to edit this though, Carol, you see where you see those 3 dots at the top right of the one that says how to design a survey? Now come down some more.
Right here. Okay.
Yes. So if you click on that,
oh, okay.
You see edit post. So you can go back in and make any kind of adjustment that you want.
Okay, fine.
All right. Okay, nice. Looking good.
All right, good. Thanks.
So I want you to do at least 2 more posts because we're going to change the format and I want you to see what it looks like.
All right. Okay, great.
All right. Thank you, Carol. What's up, Carol? What about the rest of us? Have we completed our posts?
So kind of. Looks a little crowded.
That's fine. I'm going to ask you to share your screen then, Paula.
Sure. Okay. So I was trying to just work with what they had provided in terms of the background instead of changing. Came up with a theme that was related. And the first one is just for them to comment, business letter writing. So I found a picture online.
Nice.
This one also online, talking about audiences, but this now is an uploaded file. Better articulation helps you to be better understood. They can use that to practice. And this is an audio recording.
Very good. Did you share your audio? When you share and share audio so that we can hear.
All right, hang on a second. Let's do this.
So you don't have to stop sharing. Just click on new share and tick the audio button.
New share, there's that. Oh, Rastafari. I never said that before. Thank you so much.
Yes, that has always been there.
New things to me. Okay, I always stop share again. All right, here we go.
So imagine you're walking into a surprise party. You open the door and your first reaction would be, let's try it again. Let the air out. And you open the door and
beautiful.
You should feel an expansion.
Here we go.
Okay, very good. And you see, even though the background that they gave, it's a little bit loud, by the time you're finished putting in the post and your students put in, if you want them to contribute, the background sort of fades. It's just a backdrop. I see that you're using the dark theme.
Yes, I thought the white it wouldn't be as cohesive.
That's fine. And I'm glad that I asked you to share so that we can see what the dark theme would look like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
One thing I came in late, you may have mentioned it before. How do I get my students to access this one?
All right,
and
so
to
we
create
haven't
their own Padlets.
we haven't shared it with them
no
as
problem.
yet. So we're gonna go to that now when we click on the more aspect.
Okay.
All right. How are the rest of us doing? We have added our 3 posts.
I am fine. I think I did.
Not working so well, so I did 2. I'm going to do a 3rd now. I was watching Paula's screen.
All right. That's great. So I am also adding because I want to show you what to do. So let me just add some blahs. All right, I'm using my camera, so I can't use that camera. So let me look for something. All right. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen again so that I can show you what to do, and again for video capture purposes. So I have my 3 posts, and I want to make some more changes. So I would go across. I've already gone into edit, into the setting aspect. So I now go to the 3 dots, top right of my screen, and I will see that I can invite people. So if I want my students to come in, I can just click on invite, and I search for them by name, username, or email. Now, invite means that they are already on Padlet. They have a Padlet account, okay? So if I am inviting them, it means that I'm doing a search looking for them, okay? I can also share or embed. So you may have heard me saying that you can embed this in your Moodle platform, your Orville or your learning management system. The embedding, I won't go into that today because we're not going to actually jump into the Moodle platform to do that. But if you click on share or embedding, it gives you information. So it tells me that my Padlet is private, which means that only the persons who I give a link to can actually access it. Okay, and I can add members. So remember that I could invite and I can add members by searching for them. All right, I can change my privacy, so I can make it be password accessible, which means that there's a password that you have to enter. Members only means that you have to be signed up, so it's not in the public eye, but you have to sign up in order to access it. Secret means that I keep it hidden, and when I share it, they can access it, and I can then decide whether or not they can just view or if they can edit and do anything. And public means that anywhere it is, they will find it whether they have the link or not. If they look for a particular keyword and search for it in Google or anywhere, they will find it. Okay, and then you can decide what the visitor permissions will be. Do you want them only to look at what is there and not do anything? You can leave it at can read. But if you want them to be able to post, it means that they can post, but they cannot modify or delete anybody else's, and they can't invite anybody to collaborate. All right, and can edit means that they have the power to edit, remove, delete, add, and so forth. So I'm going to leave it at can write because I want my students to be able to respond, make their comments, vote, and so forth. Okay, so when I do that, I just click anywhere off and the information is there. I want it to be secret, so it's hidden from the public. And when I share it with anybody, they can access it. And I want my visitors to be able to can write. And then I click on save. Okay. And then I go back to continue. So I can copy the link to the clipboard, or I can simply come across to the name of my Padlet at the top and copy it here. Either works. So if I click on copy link, I can do that. You can get the QR codes, and next week we'll be looking at how you can use QR codes to engage your students. So you can actually make a link using the QR code. So you can actually select the QR code and put it so that your students can simply scan it to access the Padlet. All right. And of course, you can do other things. You can email the link. You can share it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Google Classroom, wherever. So I just copied. And then this is where you would also come to what they call export. I call saving it. So you can save your board as an image, as a PDF file, as a CSV. That's it's comma separated values, which simply means that it looks like an Excel sheet, but it's not quite. It opens in Excel and operates well, but it will tell you that you need to save it in order to avoid issues. So you can save it as a CSV or as an Excel spreadsheet. If you save as an Excel spreadsheet, it will be saving the content, the text, and the name of the students and so forth, if they sign in. And then, of course, you can print it. Okay, so this is where you would find all of that. And then you click on close. All right. Now, I did tell you that there are different types of walls. If you, where do I see my format again? It's not here, it's here. So if you click on the three dots and you scroll down, you'll see something that says change format. Okay, if you click on change format, it gives you the different walls that you can use. So I want you to click on stream so that you see how the posts look when you click on stream. They're all in the center and they go down. All right, so depending on what it is that you're doing, you may want to use the stream format. If you change it to wall, the wall shows up, and the wall and the grid will show better if you have more posts. So wall and grid look about the same. It's just that the grid is a tighter lock. So you see all the information in boxes that are packed neatly. So that's your grid and your wall. Your wall may have a little more space between your posts than your grid, but they're essential. They look essentially the same. And if you click on shelf, now for persons who have debates or you want students you have groups and you want students to be in particular groups, what you can do is use the column. So section 1, I would click the dot to rename the section. And let us say that I had something that looked at oral communication. All right. And I click on save, and then the next section would be, say, written communication. All right, click on save, and the third section, let's say nonverbal. And I click on save, and you have, say, your students in groups. You would say to your students, those belonging to oral comm, you can post on the oral comm, those on the written, those on the nonverbal. And what each student would do is simply click on the plus sign, write what it is they want to write, whatever it is, the instruction that you have given, and it appears under the respective sections. So this is the column, and all the information goes down and it shows up on your board just like that, where you have the different things below the respective sections. And the final format is, oh no, it's more than final. So you have a map where you can add contents based on a map. All right. So if you scroll, if you zoom out, and you can simply add the content that you want to the map. So this is quite useful if you wanted to help the students pick up information about certain geographical points or specific areas about maps and so forth. So that is for a specific subject area. All right, and so you also have your canvas and your timeline, which is set up like a timeline having the different things, and students can put information in, or you can use it for resource purposes where you simply show them information. So that is your set of formats. All right, so now I want to share the link. So let's go back. Remember, we can share the link with the students by simply copying it at the very top, or we can go to, oh, there's a big share right here, or we can share it right here where you simply click on copy link to the clipboard. So what I'm going to ask you to do for me is to copy your link and post it in the chat. I'm just going to take a quick look at what you have. In fact, I should probably share what you have. All right, so just simply copy your link. So you would say to the students, if you give them an assignment that you email or you put it in a post, you can post the link there. If you are sending it via some other electronic means, you can post the link. If you're in a synchronous session, if you're in an online session, you can simply post it in the chat so that the students can click to go there. All right. So I'm asking anybody to just post your link. All right. So I'm going to just share again so that when I click, so I see Deidre has shared her link, and this looks nice. So Deidre's students would have access, and she wants them to rate. So of course she would tell them that they need to rate it accordingly, you know. Anybody else sharing? So I shared mine, Deidre shared. Thank you for sharing, Deidre. Is there anybody else who wants to copy a link and share it? That is fine, Paula. Thank you very much for coming out. I see that you have shared your Padlet as well. Oh, so Paula, your Padlet is private.
Private.
It says
I need to go and
that
change
I
those
shall
settings.
not pass. So you would have to change it to secret. Yes.
Okay,
So I'm
I'll
happy
jump in
this
and do
happened
that.
before you left.
Yes, I shall check. Thank you.
All right.
Take
Not
care.
a problem. Thank you very much. All right. So if nobody else wants to share, I am going to, it's 2 minutes to 12. So let me just do a quick little wrap up with what we just did. And then of course, being who I am going to invite you, please, to give me a little feedback. And I'm using Padlet for the feedback aspect. All right. So just a quick recap while I quickly put this together. Today we looked at Padlet. Essentially speaking, Padlet is an online board, a post-it board. It allows you to discuss, I mean, you can do a number of activities with your students, and you can use it for formative or summative assessment. You can share with your students. You can spark a discussion. You can give feedback. You can receive feedback. We looked at how we could create our Padlet. We look at the different formats that we can present content, or we can encourage our students to present content. And we went through the process of creating. Now I have added one last thing. So I have put a feedback exercise on the first Padlet. So I've just posted it. I've just posted it where I would love for you to vote and make a comment. There's a question here. How can you save your Padlet? So Myrtle, let me just go back in very quickly and show you. So I'm going to share my screen again, what you do is you move across to the top where you see the 3 dots, and you click on the 3 dots and you scroll down to where it says export. When you click on export, you scroll all the way down and you can save it as an image. You can save it as a PDF. You can save it as an Excel sheet or a CVS, or you can print it. I usually go for the image or the PDF, and it would save both. All right. When you click on both, they give you dimension options. So if you want it to be landscape or if you want it to be portrait, you can go ahead and do so. Go ahead, Myrtle.
So when I come back on Padlet, what would I see? If I log out and come back in.
Right. So if you log out and come back in, and in fact, let me do that for you. So I'm going to log out. So here I am logged in. I'm going to go to log out. Okay. And why am I seeing this one? All right. And let me close that. So here I am. So I'm going to go to Padlet. Still seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm just going to go to Padlet.com. I'm not even going to put dashboard. And it says that I should either join or so forth. So it still has me logged in. Let me log out properly. All right, let me log out properly. All right, so I'm logged out. So I'm going to log in. So when I log in, it's going to ask for my details. All right, so that's my details. And I am logging in. Okay, so it takes me to my dashboard. Now, the reason I have so many, it's because as I said, I had a paid version. All right, so when I click on the last Padlet that I made, it will be at the top. And it will also tell me that this was done 1 minute ago. So you will see your 3 Padlets if you have this, if you used all 3. If you didn't, you will just see the one that you created. And when you click on it, it will open up and show you the information. Does that answer the question for you, Myrtle?
Thank you, yes.
All right, great.
Thanks.
No problem. Now I have set up a feedback where I want you to just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and make a comment. And then of course, if you're doing this with your students, it means that you would have to ensure that you give them clear instructions as to what to do, how to do, when to do. And if you don't want them to post before you're ready, you don't put that particular post up as yet. And so it's after 1, I am running now, but thank you so much for coming out. This is another tool that has potential. Think about it. Think about what my course objectives are, what my learning outcomes are, what are my activities, how can I use this particular tool, where can I use it, how many times will I use it, does it make sense, will it enhance the learning process? And then if you answer yes to any of these or identify where it can be done, you use it, okay? Strategic use of your technology tools. So thanks again, and we will see you next week for another Lunch and Learn session, all things being equal. Thanks a million. And I thank you very much for the feedback.
Thank you.
Thanks as well, Michelle, as usual, for a clear and interesting session and for a very useful tool.
You are most welcome. And you may realize that we have been using the feedback in such a different way. So you don't have to ask students to go to Google to give you feedback all the time or to do a quiz. You can actually use the tool and also get feedback from them. Thank you very much.
All right, Michelle, thanks a lot.